and I'll introduce Sergey on the live while we're streaming. We're streaming. Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Lectora Live. This is your inside track into Lectora. This is our pre-show, and I've got with me, right next to me, just a mere, what is it, about 8,000 miles away, maybe 7,000, Sergey Snegirev from BranchTrack, BranchTrack.com. And he's going to be talking about some of the latest things happening with BranchTrack, which is a really cool tool. It does quite a few things. And I know you've done a lot of things recently to update. We'll talk about that on the show. But we're just going through our shots real quickly, making sure everything works, and then we will start the show in about 1 minute. So we can do some quick shots right now, just make sure everything is the way it looks. Okay, that looks good. Lower third is good. That's to scare kids really quickly in the show. Just put my face on. Okay. And I think we're good. We've got the BranchTrack website, right? All right. All right. So we are then, let's switch over to my shot real quick. So we are going to start the show in 3, 2, and 1. Hi, everyone. I'm Rick Zanotti, and welcome to Lectora Live, your inside track into Lectora. Today, third, fourth appearance? I know, we just can't push him out the door. He's always here. We love him. Sergey Snegirev. He'll be here with us in a moment. Here we go. We're back. We're joined today by Sergey Snegirev. He is the president, owner of BranchTrack, BranchTrack.com. And Sergey, how are you today?
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm doing great. You?
Oh, always a pleasure. I'm doing well. And it's hot out here, but it's not as hot as other places, so we can't complain too much.
It's pretty hot here too.
Are you pretty hot in summer?
Yeah, well, we have this saying that in Latvia there's two types of winter, the white winter and the green winter. We're in the green winter now and in the warmer part of it.
Okay. Is it always on the cold side?
No, not really. It's a joke. It can get pretty hot, not as hot as California. I'd say Latvia is very much comparable to Canada, maybe, so it can get really cold, but the summers are nice as well.
That's actually pretty pleasant. Well, congratulations. I hear that BranchTrack will be included in Lectora Inspire coming up in the next major version of it. So, congratulations.
Yes, we announced it at the Lectora user conference. Here's an inside story about it. We weren't sure we would announce this up until the last moment because we kind of wanted to get the integration in place. We wanted to establish the timeline. But at some point, we sat down with John Blackman and we said, hey, it's LUC. It should be exciting, so let's announce it. So we told everyone who was there, probably some 300 people, and now it's official. We hope to release it in the version of Lectora that is out this autumn. And I'm not sure if it's going to be a major version. It could be 16.3, not the Lectora 17. I think Lectora 17 is coming out next year. Mm-hmm. Well, that would seem logical to me. But anyhow, in the next release of Lectora, there's going to be a tab with BranchTrack included. So you can slide out one of those Inspire tabs in Lectora Inspire, and right next to the eLearning Brothers library, you will have a BranchTrack button, and you can launch the editor. It runs live inside Lectora. You can create a branching scenario. You can click Insert, and it will be downloaded from BranchTrack into Lectora. It will automatically create a Lectora library object, the external HTML object, all the actions associated with it, all the variables for you to grab the score of the scenario, and so on and so on. So the full package, just one click. It's already working in our kind of private build, and it's super exciting. I really can't wait to get it out to everyone.
That sounds great. And we've worked with BranchTrack for a little over a year, and it is a simple tool to use, to learn. It's got quite a bit of power, and it's nice when he talks about integration, variables. Everybody, when they hear the word variables, goes, "Ah, not variables." Yes, variables, but they're easy. It's not that hard. Once you understand how everything's laid out, it's very easy to make modifications and customize what BranchTrack is doing pretty well. We haven't had any real issues. I think we sent you a couple of emails. You sent us some back, got it, and then we just ran with it. It's pretty good. It does a really good job for things like that, and it's also fun to use. It's not that hard. We've done So
our aim is to keep the learning curve as low as possible. So if you're just a novice developer, you can go into BranchTrack and just visually create a branching scenario. It's like putting post-its on a wall, essentially. Yes, you can see a green phrase of a customer who walks in. Then you see a red response by the sales manager, and then there's another character who joins in that blue square that you see on the screen, and so on. So it's very visual, very easy, and you don't have to apply any kind of development skills, anything like that. It's super easy. But if you're an advanced developer, we expose a lot of information to you, and if you want to use variables, if you want to use scripts, it's all there as well. But we really want this to be accessible to novice users. I think there are a lot of tools that do complex stuff in a complex way. So what we are aiming to do is to make complex stuff in a very simple way.
Mm-hmm. And it is actually a simple interface. And now you've done some stuff recently. There have been some announcements on the product. Can you tell us some of what you've been adding over the last 6 months or longer?
Yeah, so I'd say the two biggest things that we did were the mobile player. So previously BranchTrack was playable on mobile devices. It worked, but the interface was a little bit smallish. It looked great on computers, it looked great on iPads, but if you wanted to open it on the phone, like the fonts were a little bit too small and so on.
Right.
So now we launched a player which rearranges everything into something that looks like conversation in text messages on your phone. So you're almost texting with your customer. So if you want to reach those salespeople who are always on the run, or they're somewhere in the store and everything they have is just a mobile phone, now you can, and you're not inconveniencing them. It's a pretty cool player, specifically built for small screen mobile devices. So that's one. And also, by popular demand, because that's probably the number one request we were getting, we improved our scoring system. Previously, our scoring system was very much straightforward, almost to the point of dumbing it down. So you could just assign points at the end of the scenario, depending on where the user ended up. So if we're simulating a conversation between a manager and an employee, and in that conversation the employee just walks out, slams door, and never comes back, then you get like 0 points. If he's happy and you've achieved whatever you wanted to achieve within that conversation, you get 100 points. Very simple, but also a little bit limiting to our advanced users. And over the course of 2 years, we've been around for more than 2 years now, we now have a certain amount of advanced users who want more. So now you can do complex more complex scoring, where you can add points based on specific choices. You can subtract points if people do something wrong in the middle of a scenario. That means you can't predict what the final score might be for a certain individual. And that means that if you're working with a large group of people, and some of our customers have like 50, 60,000 employees, then that diversity of different points means that you can do better analysis of the outcomes, and you can get more information about how your learners perform. And I think we succeeded at keeping it simple in terms of the interface, and I think those two changes were quite great. The new mobile player and the improved scoring system. Now we are working on, well, in parallel with the Lectora integration, we are working on another major thing, but I don't think I can tell you now. We'll have to wait until September.
The mystery will continue.
Okay, you'll have to invite me again.
Okay, that sounds good. Okay, well, let's play 21 questions. Is it related to BranchTrack?
Oh yes, absolutely. It's part of BranchTrack. So
okay, good.
I'd say BranchTrack is a niche tool. That's the strength of it, and that's the weakness of it. It's aimed at one purpose only: at building scenarios, at simulating conversations or simulating branching processes, and it does this faster, quicker, simpler, better, nicer looking than any other authoring tool. If you wanted to create a branching scenario in any authoring tool, from Lectora to pretty much any other, you would end up with hundreds of slides which are all interlinked with buttons, and you can't see what links where, and it becomes a problem real quick for you. And in BranchTrack, there's none of it. It's very visual. It's very easy to understand what's going on, and there is no development. Everything happens automatically except the creative part where the learner uses. But we always rely on two other, because of how niche we are, we rely on two big things. We rely on you having the general authoring tool, like Lectora, to deliver the rest of the content outside of the branching scenario. And you know this best. I think this is exactly what you've done for a few of your customers, where you took a larger course built in Lectora and you replaced part of it with BranchTrack, to get the best of both two worlds. Yeah, and we're happy with it.
In fact, what we did is, one of the courses we had 3 BranchTrack scenarios in it. So we had things that led up to the scenario, then a scenario, other things, then a scenario, other things. And that one worked really well. It's what they wanted, and they wanted to have the ability to track each of those as far as scores goes, and then at the end give a general score of how they've done. So that was easy to do with the variables, and it was easy. It was easy on the whole. It's very easy to incorporate it, and we weren't using the online launcher. We were actually embedding it inside Lectora. That's one of the beauties of the product. You can keep it online, or you can embed it right within Lectora. And you have full control over everything that it generated. It's real easy, but that is nice. So you don't have to do a single scenario. You can do many scenarios. I guess technically you could have a scenario branch to a different scenario.
Yes, you definitely can, but that's one of the areas where you would need to wrap it into Lectora or other authoring tools. So you would get the outcome of the first scenario and then decide which other scenario you want to branch through to using conditions in Lectora. Now, we're okay with that. We love this symbiotic connection between us and other authoring tools. We're very friendly, very open in terms of technicalities to other authoring tool companies. But another area is a big question: how do you deliver a scenario once you build? We always expected our customers to have a learning management system. We kind of assumed that everyone has one, so we created SCORM output, we created Lectora output, and so on, so you can put it on the LMS and launch it there. But it turns out that a surprising number of people and even large companies don't have access to a proper LMS, and that always impedes BranchTrack sales. We would show how to create a great scenario with points and scoring and so on, but when the customer would ask, well, how do I deliver this to my learners and how do I track it? And the answer is, well, do you have an LMS? No, we don't. Well, then BranchTrack don't have a sale. And you can probably, well, I think you've by now you've already guessed where I'm going. So what we're launching in September is a platform to deliver the scenarios and track the progress of learners, along with self-registration, along with it being enabled on mobile and so on. So now you can create those 3, 4, 5, 20 scenarios, put them together into a nice online portal and invite people to play, and you can track what they do within those simulations, how quick they complete it, they can compete with each other and so on. I can't really call it an LMS. It doesn't really manage your learning, but it's a platform to launch BranchTrack scenarios and track the progress of learners. It might evolve into an LMS, but I really wouldn't like it to, because I think there are already like 10,000 learning platforms out there. Yeah. I don't want to build another one, even if it's better than that. It's not as exciting, I think, as building an authoring tool, which has a completely different take on authoring as compared to any other tool. Right. So I will try to stick to the BranchTrack core, but we'll have that platform at some point in autumn.
Now, I'm actually really happy. I had 21 questions, and you answered it within my first one. That was good.
Sorry,
I get points on that one.
I'm a European. We don't play 21 questions, so maybe I'm playing it wrong. You have to tell me and stop me if I'm doing something wrong. All right?
I just loved it. And I go, wait, one thing led to another, and he told us.
Yeah, I know. Probably I want.
Well, it's late his time. It's very early my time, so he's tired. He's had a full day at work. So.
The whole week. It's Friday. It's Friday 8 p.m. I should be at a pub drinking.
Afterwards, right?
Oh yeah, I have my plans.
So those are all good things, and actually, it's exciting that the product's growing and you're adding things to it, and it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's been going quite well, and we're very excited about the Lectora integration because it exposes us to thousands of Lectora users immediately. Yeah. We will not give out the full product for free, of course. The plan is to include a limited version, primarily limited in the number of scenarios you can build, so not in functionality. So if you like it, if you start using it, if you see that you're getting value, you'll be happy to upgrade and buy the full package. Otherwise, it does not change the Lectora Inspire bundle pricing. So you're not paying premium for something you're not using, and it's there for you to pick up at any point. Next time you're building a course for salespeople, think of BranchTrack.
Yep. Yeah, and it does work well for that. The scenarios are easy to create and they're fun. So yeah, it's really good. So what trends are you seeing this year in e-learning? Anything different that you're seeing? Any approaches people are taking? What's standing out in your mind as a little bit different?
I see a surge in video, that's for sure.
Good.
I would say that, video has been around for years, obviously. Actually, my first exposure to e-learning, don't laugh at me, in 2002, so mere 14 years ago, was actually to a video-based course on some finance stuff, but it never took off until now. I think now we see videos everywhere. I'm not sure if it's an e-learning trend or it's a Facebook trend, but I see a lot of videos in place of pictures. If you go on Twitter, you will see that there's a lot of videos. You see how live video are taking over the social feeds and business feeds as well. We've all seen how dramatic those live streams can be in the past few weeks. And it's a big change. I think it's bigger than it seems on the surface.
I think with the advent of YouTube, and actually, if you think about it, I don't think YouTube's been around more than 8 or 9 years. I don't think it's even been that long. It just seems like
I think about right, not more than 10.
No, and but it seems like it's been there forever.
Yeah.
And when you consider the amount of content on YouTube alone, and we're not talking public YouTube, there is a lot of content on private YouTube where people create training courses, they create scenarios, sales training, and those are all for a price. You pay for that, or you get a special sign-in. And in e-learning, they're starting to take advantage of that, where you can incorporate things that are already on servers that you don't have to worry about streaming, like YouTube, like Vimeo, and then bring it right back into your Lectora, whatever authoring tool you're using, and you have access to a lot of content, or you can create a lot of content and then have access to it easily without having to have big streaming servers. A lot of the LMSs are not built to stream. So when you have video content on them, they don't always run that fast.
To say the least.
Yeah, to say the least. And I've been on about, I think, over 15 LMSs and varying degrees of slowness. I haven't really been on any that are super, super fast, at least with content, with video. I mean, if there's no video, they're usually pretty quick. But add video, and if they don't have streaming media servers, that's why courses take a long time to load, because it's mostly downloading it. It's not streaming it as you go. And that makes a big difference, especially inside of firewalls and inside of VPN or anything else. Without streaming, you're dead. It's just really slow. But there's a lot of opportunities there with video. And I agree. I think video is exciting. It's fun. There's a lot of bad video out there. But as more and more people film and more people have cell phones with good cameras, it's amazing the quality of videos we're starting to get.
Yes, I think we have two trends here that met somewhere in the middle. On one hand, the quality of cameras is increasing, so the DSLRs that everyone is using for professional shooting now, those cameras cost like $1,000 and you get excellent picture quality. And you can take a $300 smartphone and you still get good picture quality. You can get a $100 GoPro camera, one of those small ones, and they're amazing, and you can take it everywhere. And working with videos is now easy because bandwidth is there for you, and all the software and the servers. You can do pretty advanced editing on YouTube alone, and so on. So on one hand, production has become cheaper and faster and more accessible to laymen like me, for example. I've never owned an expensive camera, but I can take my phone and I can create a training video in 5 minutes and have it online in another minute.
Sure.
Now, on the other hand, I think the public idea of a good video has switched from a good production value to good content. We don't care if that video is shaky or blurry or, God forbid, vertical. Those portrait videos.
Yep.
But as long as the content is there, people will watch it. And people don't care as much about the quality of the videos. And we see so much crappy videos around on Facebook and Twitters, and sometimes they make it to the news and so on. But we're used to this kind of holy quality of videos. At the same time, producing quality is cheaper. So they meet in the middle, and now anyone can produce a video for their course that learners will like. It's that easy. Anyway.
Yeah, because there's two bad things in video. Shakiness is actually a pretty bad one. There are so many tools to get rid of shakiness as much as possible, and they don't work all that well. Some work pretty well. But the other thing is bad audio. And people are starting to put better microphones on their phones, better external microphones. Actually, I've been watching some of the add-ons you can buy for a phone. You could put a little kind of grid right over it. Now you've got a bigger camera, you've got a microphone on it. So, and you even have I've seen stabilizers for your phone. So you have a gimbal for the phone, and so you can spend about 500 to 1,000 to stabilize and make your phone a DSLR. It's pretty amazing, and the quality sometimes is shockingly good. The phones aren't the best at it, but they're pretty good. I mean, especially if you're trying to get quick content out.
Yes, you're absolutely right. So I think the revolution is happening because everything is finally there. The bandwidth is there, the technology is there, and the people's perception is there. People want video, people like video, people are used to watching videos instead of reading now, and it's a huge trend. And right now it's really on. Not on the rise. I think it's like peaking right now. Also, live videos is an interesting thing. I think it's on the rise. It's in social media now, so we expect to see it in learning. Well, webinars have been there as live videos for ages, but I think the concept of a social live video as a learning medium is quite new, and I'd be very much interested in see where it gets us. I know we're streaming to Facebook right now, and hopefully some of what we're talking about is useful to people, so we can consider this a learning stream. And even within corporations, hey, we're having this spontaneous meetup here, so let's film it and stream it live. Maybe someone will join. We're celebrating something else on the other end of the company, so let's stream that, and that brings people together, and when people are together, this is where the learning happens. So I think this will be the next step from the video that is kind of pre-made, pre-recorded, pre-cut for you, to a more spontaneous live videos and more spontaneous live learning experiences.
Well, it's interesting you bring that up, because at the LUC 16, at one point, I went off to lunch, and Leslie and I went off to lunch, and we went up to Stephanie Ivek and said, we're leaving the camera streaming. Everything is live right now. If you want to send people there, or if you want to go and do an ad hoc podcast, go ahead. Well, she did 2 ad hoc podcasts. She just went and started talking. The only problem, I had the mic facing the wrong way, because I thought people would pick it up. Nobody picked it up. So you could hear them, but they weren't very loud. Next time, I think I'll probably put a stand and keep the mic there just so they're motivated. But we had an open mic, open video, and it was fun watching just people come and have conversations. And it streamed for almost 3 hours, just by itself. And when we got back from our presentation, we stopped the stream and we went, well, we almost went 3 full hours. That was pretty good. And then we looked at it later on, and we noticed there were 2 full little mini podcasts of 5-10 minutes each, and people coming by and staring, kind of then leaving. It was interesting. But the whole idea of just have an open camera, open mic, and have at it. I figure they're all professionals. They're going to be fairly well behaved. Probably wouldn't do that in public, but
it's. I remember something this year. I couldn't attend one of the conferences that I usually attend every year. It's called E-Learning Elements.
Yes.
It takes place every May in Moscow. It's organized by a very good friend of mine, and this year they tried something new. They used live streaming to Facebook. They have the company that organizes that e-learning elements conference is pretty famous in Russia for the e-learning production that they do. So they have a lot of followers on Facebook and Twitter. So they were streaming live all the sessions from that conference, and it took them I don't know, a few minutes to set up. They just used, I think in one room they used just a normal phone, in some other room they used a tablet, and then there was a PC somewhere. Getting the sound right was actually the hard part. I think for the most part of the first day of the conference, they were having all sorts of problems, when the microphone picks up every noise except what the speaker is talking about. and I think they figured it out in the evening, and second day was just perfect. And also by that time, a lot of people heard about what's going on and flocked to to Facebook to watch it. And they had like 200-300 people watching and commenting on certain sessions, and that's actually more people than there were in that actual session. And
Right.
the cost of that was close to zero. The technical requirements for that, the skills they needed to do that, were close to zero. I think on the first day everyone kind of pitched in into the Facebook comments with their idea on how to improve sound, and they just did it. And it's so easy to do. It's actually something that I really expect Lectora to do next year. I would be very surprised if there wasn't a live stream of Lectora conference next year.
That would be nice.
I personally, well, I know I go there every year anyhow physically, but if I couldn't go, I would be very well prepared to actually pay, I don't know, almost full ticket price to attend virtually, because the content is great. You save on the travel costs. And also, the most important part is that physically, when you're there, you only get 25% of the conference content,
Right.
because you can only attend one in 4 sessions, in 4 parallel tracks. And it's my 3rd LUC this year. And sometimes I'm really frustrated. I can't go to more than one session at a time, and they aren't recorded. So, Lectora people, if you're listening, please do this next year. The technology is there. I think people would love that.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
It would definitely be fun. Wouldn't be that
They
hard to
should
do
use
either.
you and your technology. I remember you at the LUC this year. You looked like a Hollywood camper van with dozens of cameras and microphones and things I don't know names.
That we only had 2 cameras, 2 microphones, the streaming, but it was all live. We
Bunch
streamed
of lights,
everything. Yeah,
I remember.
I think we
Wires.
did 8 shows in a day and a half.
Yeah.
So that was fun, just grabbing people. The next time we have to do it a little bit more KGB-like. We have to be more hidden, because it was too obvious. People would come by and go, cameras, and leave. They'd get out. The minute they saw the cameras and lights, they were running away. So we
you
have to
should
be
use
a
Google
little more.
Glasses.
Yeah, we have to be a little more discreet. Kind of bring them in, and then when they come in, grab 'em. Okay, sit down. All right, you're on camera. Hi, welcome to the show. And that would have been fun. But it was fun. It was fun. And then I was also shooting pictures and videos aside from that, just walking around. Yeah, it is a lot of fun. And so Renee Morgan, one of the developers, he was also shooting a lot of video. And then at the end of the day, at the end of the second day, he put that all into, I think it was iMovie, and he created a video in about 10 minutes. It was great, and lots of content. It was a lot of fun. So those are fun things, and people respond well to video. They do like video and streaming and all that. So I think we'll probably hopefully see some good changes next year on what's done with the conference.
Yeah, you mentioned iMovie, for example, and iMovie is a great example of the technology being there for kind of normal people who don't have to be videographers or camera people. That you import something into the iMovie, it shows you different parts of the video, highlights them automatically, and then you add a few effects. It's very easy to cut stuff around visually, and you have a movie which is almost professionally edited. And you don't need any skills. And there's the next level beyond that, what Google does now. I was almost shocked when I saw that about a year ago, I think. So I'm looking at my phone and I see an alert, Google telling me that, hey, we created a video for you. And I'm like, what? And I launch it, and what Google did, it took a few videos from where I'm walking around the park and the zoo with my family and my son, and I was just shooting randomly stuff around, and my kid, obviously. And what Google did, it automatically took all that footage, it cut out the best parts, it strung it all together into a very well edited short clip, and added some soundtrack. and it all just happened, and it sent it to me and to evaluate and share if I wanted to, and I shared it because it just looked great, and I didn't spend any time doing it, and it was better than what I could have produced myself,
Interesting.
iMovie or not. And this is what Facebook now does occasionally, where it shows you, those montages of your usually around Christmas time. It shows you your year in reverse, and so on and so on. Where it takes the pictures and the videos that you've shared and liked and commented on, strings them together, adds some music, and the quality of that is better than you could do using any editing tools, even the simplest ones. So video has enormous power, and the technology to support that is amazing, and it just keeps evolving.
I find it interesting and scary at the same time. I
try not to be scared.
Yeah, I do wonder.
It's like jumping off a cliff. You cannot do that. I can do that. Lots of people have done that. Yeah. I won't show anyone, but I won't tell anyone what I feel either. This is how I feel about all the new technology, from Tesla to neural networks, to artificial intelligence, to rockets that can land into the sea by themselves.
Well, at the rate we're going, we may not have anything but artificial intelligence in the future.
So they say. And I see there's a lot of discussion about it, and some great minds that I can kind of trust have spoken up against it.
I was being sarcastic. As humans develop less intelligence, artificial intelligence will take over.
That's
another scary proposition.
You're a skeptical person, do you know?
No, I'm a realist. But I have a positive outlook. It's just that I see trends that are a little bit scary. Read books like 1984 and Brave New World, and you'll go, "Oh my God, we're here." Those aren't necessarily.
We're past it. I think we're past it.
We're past it. We may have gone way past it.
What happened like 6 years ago?
I know. Yeah, that's true. Well, Sergey, we are at the end of our time, and as always, it's a pleasure having you on. And by the way, if you don't get enough of Sergey this week, he will be on eLearn Chat next week. So that's a different show that reaches the whole e-learning community, and we look forward to seeing him on next week, and we'll have different subjects to talk about. Plus, he's going to give a quick demo of BranchTrack. So what we didn't see today, he'll go into a little bit more detail next week, talking about all the features and capabilities and stuff like that. It'll be fun. So Sergey, a lot of fun having you on again as always, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
Thanks for having me. Hope to see everyone next week, and that's our show.
That sounds good. If people need to get a hold of you, Sergey, what's the best way to do it?
So you can go to BranchTrack.com, BranchTrack.com. I can spell. And go to the contacts, and you'll get in touch with me almost directly. I read all the email that comes. You can also get a hold of me on Lectora community. You don't have to look for me. I'll be there in the recently active users at any time of day, I think.
Well, Sergey, have a great week. Have a good weekend. And we will see you next week on eLearn Chat. And for all you people watching the show, please subscribe, give us your feedback, and let us know what you think. Have a good one, everyone. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Sergey.